Hey everyone, this is Witcher with the Twin Flame, the Twin Within Energy Report for January 13th through the 19th. Um, so before I get started, I was kind of thinking about today, I was just reminiscing over the last 3 months of 2018. And I don't know about you all, but it seemed like there was just an incredible amount of acceleration going on during that time. And acceleration by, I mean, anybody who's tapping into this channel and knows anything about twin flames knows that the twin flame path is really an accelerated spiritual path. It's a spiritual path, but I believe it's an especially accelerated spiritual path. Right? It's sort of throwing you into the fire, into a very sort of catalytic situation that is going to help you work through a lot of issues, to quickly get you up to speed on your spiritual path. I know that that's certainly what's happened to myself within 3 years since I've been on the twin flame path in full. I met my twin back in 2014, my quote unquote twin, the person that I consider them to be the catalyst for my spiritual, for um, my accelerated spiritual work that I'm doing. So we met in March 2014, but I didn't really start getting thrown into the fire, and I didn't even know about the whole twin flame concept until sort of summer of 2016. And then that's when sort of just all hell broke loose. And, that was just, for me at least, that was into the fire, like really working through all of my issues that I hadn't been working through, getting, having these, just channels of energy opening up in me. I was drawn to get into energy healing and channeling and working with past life regressions and all that kind of stuff. All of which I completely resisted until the summer of 2017, when I tentatively started taking step towards actually getting into doing energy healing of that sort. And 2017 was when I did my first video on YouTube, the summer of 2017. Even though I'd been called to do that towards the end of 2016, it was just so much resistance. And even up until, I would say, the summer of 2018, when I really started to meet some people who were going to have an effect on me to quickly bring me further on my path, especially in terms of my energy healing. And, I still had a lot of reservations of is this what I'm supposed to be doing? I don't know, spirit world, give me a sign. I actually asked for a very extremely specific sign to be given to me in October, end of October, early November. And 2 weeks later, I got that sign. It was super specific. I got it. And also what I noticed was that people who would come to me for energy healing, they'd come to me, but they were really, resistant in a lot of ways to the energy work that we were doing. And then suddenly, starting from October, and then especially November and December, it was just like these people were making leaps and bounds in their openness towards what they were going through and their willingness to start doing the work. Things that I think had taken me, years to work through, these people were suddenly doing in a matter of weeks or months. And I just continue to see that all around when I'm looking around, that this just accelerated path, and more people really just becoming open to the spiritual path, the occult world, call it what you will, but just really being open and coming out of the woodwork, and really, even if they'd never really heard of a lot of this stuff before, just saying, hey, like, tell me more, I'm interested. So I don't know, I just thought I'd bring that up. I was thinking about it today. Throw some comments in if you happen to have noticed this yourself. I'm just really curious. It just felt like the last 3 months of last year, suddenly just things just started accelerating really, really quickly. I still feel it too. I feel, it's just continuing. January, February. I don't know. I just really feel like there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of change that's happening in the world. People waking up. People really connecting to their energy. And I feel that with my energy work, that's really what I'm here to do, is to help people connect to their energy, to help them start to become aware of it, to trust it, and to make decisions based on what their energy is telling them. So to really get people into a sense of personal empowerment through becoming aware of their energy, and even helping them find their own particular path forward. I mean, I have my own particular path, one that I'm still developing, but I honestly believe that there just is no one path. There's no one path. It's that there are paths, and I feel that people need to, and this is a part of learning to listen to your own energy, is you listen to that energy, and as you're studying all these different paths, you will get drawn into paths that are going to work particularly well for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely everything right with that. Doing this is the age of Aquarius, which is coming in and saying you got to do what works well for yourself. It's we're kind of getting back to the empowered individual, the single entrepreneur, instead of going off and working for large corporations. It's individuals learning how to be their own boss, make their own money, make their own way, create their own spiritual path. Anyway, just thought I'd bring that up. That was on my mind. Wanted to talk about it. I thought I would kind of start doing this a little bit more, as on Sundays I've generally got a week's worth of stuff rolling around in my head, and instead of jumping right into the cards, thought I would just kind of do a little bit of throwing it out there, what I'm thinking about, and seeing if anybody else has seen the same things or is thinking about the same things. I always think it's interesting to see, if you look at enough YouTube videos within a week, there are always just common themes going around for that week, or that time period. And I feel like we are tapped into a single unified field of energy that everyone taps into. The Germans used to call it Zeitgeist, the spirit of the times. And I think as we're all starting to awaken to our natural ability to be aware of and tune into this energy, not only our own energy, other people's energy, and then the common energetic field, we're going to see this happening more and more often. So leave your comments if you have any. Otherwise, I am going to jump into the cards, and as you know, I pick a single tarot card for the feminine energy, single tarot card for the masculine energy. And again, these are energies that every single person has within us. That's why we have the yin yang. That's the whole dualism. It's the double helix of the DNA strands. the male, female. You can't exist without having both within you. One of them is usually dominant. However, I believe we're all here to fully integrate, connect with, and integrate those energies. And as we do, we will become more and more androgynous. In as much as we're able to call on either the masculine or feminine energies as we need them as appropriate. Right? So I'm not saying that everybody's going to look the same, or we're going to lose our sense of sexuality. That's not true. Again, these energies are just tools that we use, in sympathy with each other to help move us forward, to make us master magicians, so we can create the world of our joy and our bliss. Anyway, so for the feminine energy, we got the Ten of Swords. Ooh, the Ten of Swords. Everybody, a lot of readers, they say the Ten of Swords is, you getting stabbed in the back. Well, no. Yeah, kind of. It's a part of you getting stabbed in the back. So, in order to understand this, swords don't deal with the physical. Swords are a representation of our ideas, our thought, our mind, our awareness, our knowing. Specifically the third eye chakra, which is our divine knowing. It's our ability to cut through the bullshit and see the truth in a situation, right? It's the ability to see through the illusion, what the Hindus call a Maya, the great illusion, right? The illusion that we're limited beings, that there's not enough for everybody, that we live in a world of lack, that, I can't be anything more than I am. No, it's bullshit. We're all these incredibly powerful spirits, and the world is not just this mechanical clockwork that's going around. We're not trapped in this clockwork orange of cause and effect. We have the ability to create the world that we desire. And so the Ten of Swords is the ability to cut through the crap and kill off these old programs of lack and limitation and fear. And that's what, because tens are completion. 10, you've gone from the Ace of Swords, and you've had this evolutionary path, where the Eight of Swords is that you're trapped up in your head of fear and limitation, and it's really just the understanding that your fears are all in your head. They're not real. The Nine of Swords is saying, hey, you got to face those fears. You really have to face them. And the Ten of Swords is you killing you, not you getting killed, you killing that old self of yours, that old limited self, the one that believed in limitation, fear, and lack, right? So it's killing off those negative programs one by one, so that you can then, and this is on the bottom of the deck, transform, right? So let's focus on killing off those old programs of fear, limitation, and lack, so that we can continue to progress higher and higher in our soul's evolution and create a life of joy and abundance. That is our birthright. It's our birthright. It is our entitlement. And again, the word entitlement has been demonized in our society. And yet entitlement doesn't mean that you get something for free. It means that you don't have to prove yourself to be worthy. You don't have to prove yourself to be deserving. You are entitled to everything that you can create for yourself. That's what it means to be entitled. that you don't have to prove yourself as worthy, right? Nobody's going to come and judge you. You're entitled. You're entitled to have everything you can create for yourself, and you can create anything you want for yourself as long as you know that you can. As long as you kill off all of those old bullshit programs, ideas that you were programmed with as a child to say that you're limited and you're never going to be better than this, right? So let's kill those off. Ten of Swords. I love the Ten of Swords. One of my favorite cards in the tarot deck, because it's about improving yourself. It's about shedding that old skin, killing off those old ideas, improving yourself, moving forward, growing. So the masculine energy, we got the Four of Swords. Four of Swords is all about integration. It comes after another card where you have to kind of kill things off. It's the Three of Swords, right? Three of Swords, it doesn't mean heartache in the sense of you got dumped. It's kind of similar though. The Three of Swords is like you get an idea in your head and you think it's a really great idea, and you're like, oh man, this is going to work really great. And there comes a point in time when you realize that that idea is just not going to work, and you got to let it go, right? You got to kill it off. No sacred cows. And so when you do that and you let it go and you're able to just say, fuck, I really want this to work, but I know it's not going to work and I just got to let it go. And then the Four of Swords comes along. You've learned something. You've grown. You've learned. And the Four of Swords is about allowing yourself to integrate that learning. And so I think these are great cards to have together. You've killed off an old part of yourself. It was one of those lack, limitation, fear programs. And now that you've killed it off, you need a little time to defrag the database, clean off the hard drive, and allow yourself to run some new programs of abundance and joy, right? Get that old shit out of your head. So those are the two cards, the masculine and the feminine. I think they're great cards. And then for the oracle card, I got encouragement in reverse. Encouragement in reverse. And that's basically a older giraffe encouraging a younger giraffe. But it's in reverse, so let's see what that says. All right, 54. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know if how this is going to fit into our two cards, although so far the oracle cards have been really good at integrating in with the two-card pull. So encouragement, you are receiving a nudge in the right direction. Reversed, a misstep isn't the end of the world. You've fallen into a trap of false courage, and only humility will lead you out of it. Perhaps you weren't listening to your intuition, and now you're in a jam. Being too self-reliant without knowing the ropes has brought you to this place. Don't become too discouraged. All is well. And you can always start again. Take another road and surely discover new territories where love really blooms. Just remember to rely on your higher power. You can't always get what you want, but Spirit knows your needs. Something better waits around the corner. So actually, I feel that works pretty well. We see here that something was killed off. Maybe it was a relationship that that just wasn't working. And now you got to take a step back and rest, recuperate, and bring in and incorporate all that knowledge that you just learned, all the wisdom. Well, so you take the knowledge and incorporate it into your understanding about the world, and that becomes wisdom, right? So something didn't work out. We had to let it go. We had to kill it off. And now we're taking the information from that lesson, integrating it into ourselves, and it becomes wisdom. I think that works really well. So that's it for the week. I wish you all well. Be happy, be safe, and I will see you on the 20th. Bye.